Hi, we're here for another episode of Did You Know at Temple Bethel on a hot sunny day. And we're actually here with a new four-legged friend. You can only see his backside, but this is Charlie. And Charlie is our new rabbi dog. Rabbi Aaron and Wendy's dog, Charlie, founded a Waffle House, is joining us today. So welcome, Charlie. So, wanted to talk briefly today, with my dear friend and colleague Barbara here, about some of the things that we do as a Reformed synagogue that are not meant to be political in nature, but that are certainly meant to align with certain values from a social causes perspective that the vast majority of modern Reformed synagogues align with, and as it pertains to that. So, jumping right in, let's talk about flags for a second. So, recently, a lot of you may have noticed that we've been flying the Pride flag. Now, honestly, I put this up in mid-May because I looked at the calendar wrong and I thought May was Pride Month for starters. But it turns out it's June. And then a lot of us started talking here in leadership, lay leadership and staff, and we feel like, the LGBTQ plus population is one of the populations that has been so marginalized and persecuted over the decades in our country, that we align very much with that as Jews who have often been persecuted, often been marginalized. And we want people from that community to feel safe here. So we're just flying the flag, and at this point it's staying up at the moment because of that. We feel strongly it's important to align and support other populations that have suffered. Recently, we also, you may have noticed, we were flying our American flag at half staff for several weeks instead of just a few days. And that was initially because of the many mass shootings that happened at one point in time, a month or so back. And it felt necessary to make a statement about the horrible epidemic of gun violence in this country and show support of the families with a tiny gesture of keeping the flag down rather than putting it back up. From a practical perspective, I gotta say, if we put the flag down every time there was a shooting on our streets, I'd have to, and then put it back up after a few days, we'd have to put it up like 3 times a week and then put it down like 2 or 3 times a week. So it's more practical this way as well. There's a lot of hatred underneath all of these topics. And hatred, as you know, comes from ignorance and fear, basically. And one can lead to the other. There's a causal effect there. So really excited in this time when there's so much just pure animosity towards one another on the streets. We're excited to launch a 2-series program called Hate the Other 4-Letter Word, starting on July 27th and then August 10th. We're not going to get into the details at this point in time, but Hate the Other 4-Letter Word. It's a town hall format, the roots of hatred, what we can do about it. And hopefully, as you see materials on this come out, you'll join us for this program. Barb Siegel, you all know her and love her. She's a 20-plus year veteran here at Temple Bethel, and equally impressive, a rock star public school teacher, which means she sees a lot of these social issues on the street every day where the rubber meets the road.
So it's actually funny. I have 2 very strong passions in life. It's politics and Judaism. And when I was very young in high school, I participated in a program called Panim El Panim, Face to Face, that was sponsored by the Religious Action Center in Washington, D.C. And that's the moment in which my political efficacy and my Judaicity married. And it's an underlying theme, social activism in Judaism. And at the JLC, our religious here, we teach 5 basic principles throughout the year. And sure, we like to teach our children to love one another, but it's a lot deeper than that. Like the idea of chesed, or kindness. Kindness isn't just being nice to one another, it's doing something for the sole purpose of doing it for someone else. We like to create a shelter of peace, sukkot shalom, but we also have to recognize that once we've achieved peace, we have to work at keeping it. It's not going to stay forever. Empathy, ometz lev, kindness for one another, and that transcends not just my fellow Temple Bethelian, it's everybody in our community. We have to be kind to everyone. And by doing this, we're creating a community, a kahila. And, you know, I'm reminded of MLK's words when he said, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. And that's a guiding force for us all to follow. And the last is gevura, or strength. We can work alone, or we can work as a community. And when we work as a community, we tend to achieve more. Kind of where my head was at when we're teaching all of these different activities at Temple. You know, we have a common purpose to create a beautiful community.
I love it. So this is the kind of great foundational material that your kids learn at JLC, not just how to be a Jew, but how to be a human. I hope we'll see you this coming Friday night with our new Rabbi Aaron, joining us for the first time, and from a hot front of Temple Bethel. Have a good weekend.
Charlie says bye too.